Hey, give the youth a chance. The youth need to be put into leadership roles. This is what the ANC loudmouths have been saying, is it not? When you hear them say it, how many of us feel like saying, oh, please shut up and sit down. Please just shut your mouth, get a job like all of us, and rise through the ranks like everyone else. They just want to be cast into big roles without earning or qualifying for the positions. Positions. That is the story of the ANC, is it not? The so-called cadre deployments have been the problem within our country. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you entitlement of the highest order.
Now, what would have happened in the instance, I never applied to be a senior researcher chair. I applied to be a PA and working in the office of the chief whip in the municipality there. Now, because I was deployed in a political office, there was movement. They just placed me as a senior researcher. I could not say no.
Imagine that. He applied to be a personal assistant and he ended up becoming a senior researcher. Even though he didn't have a post-matric qualification, didn't have a qualification related to senior researcher position, didn't have a qualification at all. Imagine, he didn't even have experience for the job, but he was supposed to be a senior researcher in the Mbombela municipality, serving our people. This is exactly what people have been complaining about all this while. Incompetence and cadre deployment, the way of the ANC. Instead of finding the best qualified person for the senior researcher role, they appointed this ANC member who didn't have the qualification. He simply got appointed as a senior researcher and started learning on the job using our taxes. Mbombela residents simply see corruption left, right and center, and everyone wonders why these municipal workers are allowing the stealing of money. The municipal workers are ANC members too. That is why. Now, he was so close to being appointed to be on the board of the NYDA. This goes to show how politicians care more about the upliftment of their fellow comrades than they care about the upliftment of the citizens, and it is extremely sad and unfortunate.
Now, it would have made sense to me if you had completed your diploma in 2011, but you have since clarified it to us that you in fact completed it in 2021. So it means you would have been a senior researcher for 5 years without a post-matric qualification. My question to you is, if we were to appoint you, recommend you, and the president were to appoint you to lead the NYDA, would you appoint or employ someone without a post-matric qualification to be a senior researcher in any process or department within the National Youth Development Agency? Because you were a senior researcher and earned a senior researcher salary for 5 years without a post-matric qualification. Thank you.
Why would he not appoint unqualified people when he himself was appointed when he knew nothing about the job?
Thank you very much for that question. No, I think I would not do that. Maybe I must maybe the question should have been, what is the circumstance that led to that? Because I did not apply for a post of senior researcher. Because the problem, I had to put the CV accurately to the fact of the positions I occupied, because I didn't want to mislead anybody. Now, what would have happened in the instance, I never applied to be a senior researcher chair. I applied to be a PA and working in the office of the chief whip in the municipality there. Now, because I was deployed in a political office, there was movement. They just placed me as a senior researcher. I could not say no.
The comrades will simply say, comrade, please, don't forget where you come from. You were given an opportunity. Now it's your turn to give others an opportunity. Why would he not follow the standard operating procedure that the politicians before him followed to get him appointed? Qualifications for what? Are you ANC? Great, you've got the job. A municipality depended on the research from this senior researcher for many years. They depended on an incompetent person like this one. The taxpayers paying millions for this nonsense. Now he was even shortlisted to become a member of the board of the National Youth Development Agency. A whole board member, the highest ranking positions to steer the organization with the CEO reporting to them. This is the kind of person who was supposed to sit on that board. Clown world, I tell you. These politicians tend to act as if we don't have qualified people in this country. You might be tempted to think that the fact that he was shortlisted might mean that he was among the most qualified for the position. I mean, guys, there are many people in this country with degrees, honors, masters, and even PhDs who are sitting at home unemployed. Many people with so much experience that a degree would be unnecessary. But hey, let's bring this guy who has neither the experience nor the education to carry out the job. Why? Because he's young, because he's black, because he is ANC. In the public and private sector, and even among the unemployed, there will be a bunch of people who were better qualified for the job, but they didn't know the right person, you see? So they didn't stand a chance. They were not affiliated to the right political party, or they were simply the wrong race, so their names would have never made the shortlist. It would be one thing if the people appointed were affecting the ANC only, but their failures or successes affect the entire nation. My question is, who is responsible for coming up with the shortlisted candidates? What criteria did they use to shortlist this brazen candidate daring to put himself up for the position? I mean, how is it possible that people can be so foolish? Imagine appointing high school students to be the teachers. That doesn't make sense, right? And yet that is the equivalent of what we are seeing right here. That is what these so-called youth leaders are looking for. Young people must occupy ministerial positions, as said by this buffoon just a few months ago.
If it does not resolve the structure of the economy in this country to reflect the majority of the economy of this country, we mobilize the youth of all corners of this country to go and close down union building and install ourselves as the leaders. We told them we want young people in corridors of power.
That is the ANC's Youth League president. There are many people who believe in this nonsense called representation matters because it sounds and feels nice. But the reality is we need competence, not representation. Unless and until you sort out the education and training issues, please shut up and go do this representation in your own house, not here. When it comes to dealing with our taxes, you get the best person for the job. Period. This is not your father's money. It is the taxpayers' money. And the taxpayers want to be represented by the best, the most competent, not the loudest, slogan-shouting empty tin on the stage. No learning on the job at our cost here. Efficiency, bang-for-buck service delivery is what we care about, not this nonsense about representation. When you keep asking for representation without equipping those that you want to represent you, this is what you get.
Now, Deputy Minister Nyana we Labor. Umsebenzi wakhe ngakwenza amatiya responsibility, but they've deployed the youth.
Half of all ministers must be young people aged 35 and below is what Colin, the ANC Youth League leader, said, right? Young people must be in the corridors of power is what he said, right? Well, these two comrades who have been embarrassed by the EFF Member of Parliament are young people, are they not? The mission was clear. Let's put young people into positions that they didn't earn. Why? Because they are young, because of representation. Members of Parliament that were in charge of this shortlisting believe that 18 to 35-year-olds should be in charge of billions, not of their money, but billions in taxpayers' money. 18 to 35-year-olds. How many 18-year-olds have the education, experience, and expertise to offer real value to a board? Even at 25 or 30, how much experience have you attained to hold such a position, especially in South Africa? How many people do you know that are mature enough at these ages to be board members? Educated enough, experienced enough, exposed enough? How many? Let's stop playing games, guys. Let's just stop it. It's all good and well to desire to have 18 to 35-year-olds in those positions, but don't stop at desire. Do the necessary hard work. Adopt the necessary high-quality education. Ensure that training and apprenticeship programs are in place to produce exceptional 18 to 35-year-olds that deserve to hold those positions of power, to be in those corridors of power. Otherwise, this will be the result. Incompetent, inexperienced, not even a certificate for the job. At the end of the day, you are setting these young people up for embarrassment, and you are subjecting the rest of the nation to less than the best. When are we going to hear this new generation of South Africans being educated about the importance of learning to follow before they learn to lead?
Before the Act was amended in 2021, those who have worked in political offices know that in political offices there was not even interviews or many other things. You have just been called in and be deployed in the office to assist politically. And when you arrive there, you are given different roles. Now, as well, like any other person who was deployed in any political office, they were moved around in different roles. It was out of his control. There was nothing he was going to do. The best thing that he did was to also declare it. Because normally people will not declare, will say, if I'm employed as a PA, I remain there even when you have been moved to another responsibility. But it's also said there in the interview that he complained formally that this responsibility you've given me is not in line with what I've applied for. Now, I think on that issue, the municipality will also respond on it. Those who have been deployed in political offices, they know it's nothing new. It happens all the time of movement of people in the structure, and that is resolved.
The ANC Youth League president, instead of acknowledging that there is a problem if we start seeing inexperienced and unqualified individuals being appointed to positions that affect us as taxpayers, he simply shrugs it off. In an interview, he actually said it's nothing new. It happens all the time. Imagine that attitude and mindset, huh? You are getting a salary because you're supposed to know what to do in your role, and you're supposed to provide the best service to the citizens of South Africa, but not to the ANC Youth League leader. This Malachi guy is one of those ones that are always yapping about youth and powerful and leadership positions, and he does not care whether those young people are ready, qualified, or able to do the work or not. Under the ANC, at the age of 26, Colin Malachi himself was appointed to become a Member of Parliament from 2019 to 2024. A Member of Parliament. Imagine that. 26 years old, this guy was already an MP. And to be fair, there are young people who are qualified, who are wise and experienced with loads to offer, and they should not be held back simply because they are young. But with Colin Malachi, come on. If you hear what comes out of his mouth now in his 30s, you can imagine how much worse it was when he was 26. Where does he get the chance to learn like the rest of us? The lie of representation is what creates this nonsense. According to the representation activists, all positions must have young people in them to be fair. During the NYDA board shortlisting, the chairperson highlighted that the candidates should be between 18 and 35, possess skills in finance, law, youth development, or social development, and align with the agency's mandate. It is never a good idea to employ based on gender, race, age, or disability for jobs that require competence more than anything else. If you do that, you create clown institutions and a clown nation. The Mickey Mouse institution that General Nchaveni was talking about when he spoke about the SANDF. If you missed that video, please do check it out. This logic of make room for us, make room for representation is all about the stomach. If you are eating, let those that look like me eat as well. That's what South Africa's politics is now all about for these people who are in politics. But to a normal citizen like you and I, it does not matter if the minister is young or old, male or female, black or white, as long as they provide the services needed by the citizens. The people that care about how old is a minister, what gender are they black, are they white, are they disabled, have been politicized and fed propaganda. It's all about the eating. It is all about give us some of these eating opportunities, guys. These politicians don't care about competence as much as they care about the race, the gender, the age, or sexual orientation of the individuals. This is what shows you that our country is in the hands of fools. If you also hold these views, please take time to think long and hard, and you'll realize that what really matters most is competence and not representation. If you need some convincing, take a look at this.
In as far as NYDA must fulfill its objectives, right?
Yes.
Youth development, the things that you would have mentioned here.
Yes.
Now, there's the NYDA Act, and then there's the legal framework of the NYDA Act. I want to know if you understand the relationship between those two, and if you can give me some practical example, even one, that demonstrates to us and the people of South Africa that you'll be serving, that you understand this relationship.
Okay. Okay, so from the as NYDA is mandated to obviously do the youth development, for me to answer this question, I am going to use that example of the rural being integrated into the okay, so the framework essentially is the skeleton, and then from the act itself, it's the policy, the legal framework will be.
You want to be a board member, right? Right? Shouldn't you know the organization you wish to take charge of? Shouldn't you have done some reading to make sure you know the organization, its purpose and intention? Should you not try to know about the job and organization to prepare for the interview? These are big salaries for useless jobs that shouldn't even exist. Jobs in an organization that, if we are all being honest, shouldn't even exist. These positions and organizations exist for, if you are eating, let us eat too. Let one of us eat as well. That's the honest truth. That is sadly what South African municipalities, state institutions, and politics have become. Politics of gravy trains, politics of the stomach. That's why you see that when you try to tell certain people to stop voting for the ANC and its babies, they say, no, if we start standing up against them, then we won't be given the tender. The business forum will exclude us. When the opportunities come, we will be left out. Let's just be quiet so that we can also eat. We really need to stop thinking only with our stomachs, fellow South Africans. The truth is, with the ANC out of the way, there will be enough for everyone to eat without things like tenders. The economy will be big enough for all of us to have a slice. Organizations like the NYDA are simply here to throw money around, pretending to be creating opportunities. Meanwhile, salaries are being thrown around, loads of cash being given to the select few, all funded by the taxpayer, by the way. What a joke. I know that many of you will disagree with me on this, but hopefully one day you will also see it. Anyway, that's it for today. Please subscribe, like, and share this video with other citizens. Together, let's open up more minds and eyes to the facts, even the uncomfortable facts that we need to understand and embrace in order to get us to a better place as citizens and as a nation. If you'd like to support the work that we do, please pick one of the 3 options in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Katlego. This is Citizen Concerned. And until next time, beware of the comrades.